From the studios of WFAN, and yeah, it has my name on it, but I'm not going to keep saying that. This is Mike Francesa, and it is Mike's On. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be back. A little surprising to be back, and in case you might have seen a little notice about it in the last couple of days, I am back. We'll get into all that. I'm sure some of you, as you call and go through the day, might have a couple of questions. If you do, we'll answer them then. I'm not going to sit here and give you a litany of what happened, because some of it is none of your business, and the rest of it, well, you know, I'll tell you it as we go along. But I want to thank everyone for all the kind thoughts and wishes that came from every corner. It was overwhelming, all the nice messages and warm greetings that were sent my way, so I thank everybody for that. And it's time to get down and do some sports, which I haven't had a chance to do in a long time. You know, it was December 15th the last time I was here. So a lot has gone on since then. We're not going to get to all of it in one day, but we got a lot going on right now. I was fascinated by the Yankees and the Astros last night. First of all, I don't like the Astros very much, but, you know, the Yankees went in there having won 9 straight. They were going to be, after last night, 4 games into this 13-game schedule that was going to be the one that was the true test. You know, after the ups and downs of the early season, the rotten weather, and boy, do we have rotten weather. I mean, don't get me started on that, because this is the first nice day we've had ever this spring, and it's the first day I have to be here. So God's playing a little trick on me as far as that, because it's 80 and sunny, and I waited for 2 months to have an 80-degree day to play golf. But hey, that's the way it goes. But you know, the 4 games into this part of the schedule, early season, you had the weather to deal with, you had the injuries, you had little inconsistency here and there. They weren't playing well, and then all of a sudden they got hot, and then here came the Angels, and that was fast order. And then, of course, this 4-game stop in Houston, which started with a loss last night as Charlie Morton continued his mastery, and that's the only word for it, over the Yankees as he did last night. I mean, the Astros right now, the way they pitch, I don't love their bullpen, but the way they pitch, especially in the starting rotation, with Verlander doing what he's doing, and I wondered if he would do that, you know, in the regular season after being so brilliant in the postseason last year, but right now he is doing it. They're all doing it as far as the rotation goes. Their pitching numbers are extraordinary. Their offense is terrific. So right now you have to call them the class, but the Yankees, the Red Sox will have something, and the Indians will have something to say about that as the weeks and months go on. We have a chance to have a lot of fun here this year, especially with the Yankees and the Red Sox. But right now, 4 games into this 13 games, which will conclude with the Indians and then the Red Sox coming to town, but first 3 more games with the Astros after last night's loss. You know, I was driving today, I heard people complaining about who was in the lineup and who wasn't. Come on, it is the last day of April. I mean, calm down about stuff like that. Let people get a day off here and there. It's a long season, and already the Yanks have been backed up because of the many rainouts, because they were dumb enough to start the schedule early and run into this incredibly bad weather. So we got a lot to get to. We got the Yankees. We got to get some stuff with the Mets, and the Mets have had a good start. I mean, they're often playing well. They got some holes, but right now you got to be happy with what's going on so far, and you also have to be happy with the fact that Washington is not nearly Washington, and neither Atlanta or the Phillies are ready to win on a big level. They're improved. I think the Phillies would be much improved this year, but neither one's ready to go to the playoffs, and Washington's sure struggling with their issues and their injuries, so that gives the Mets a chance. Cespedes doesn't seem like he's too badly hurt right now. It looked like it's okay. So I think that, and that's obviously a very big positive. You'll see him, I think, get torrid when the weather heats up as it is going to do this week. There's a lot of other things to get to. NBA, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, watching LeBron, and I don't know how much LeBron talk there's been. There'll be some with me here, because that last series, listen, I know they're not good. I know they're not championship material, but to watch him carry the team the way he did, even through that first round, he's going to have to do that every single round here. And for me, knowing we're running out of time with him, where you got maybe two, possibly 3 years left, if you get some support left at this level, I love watching what he's doing right now, and what is a little bit of a changing of the guard, especially in the East. You know, Philly's got the most talent, but they're not ready to win yet. And the Celtics, if they had everybody, be a different team. But right now, the East wide open as we get ready to start this Cleveland-Toronto series. We'll get to that. We got coaches still to name with some teams here in town. We'll get to that. And, of course, the draft. And, you know, for me, and we'll have Mike McCagnon, the Jets general manager, later in the show. The Jets getting Sam Darnold, to me, everything finally, for a franchise that's usually very unlucky, everything finally fell into place because, to me, this guy, you know, if you've listened to this show or watched me over the last couple of years, you know how high I am on him. I thought he was clearly the best quarterback. I think he's going to be the best of the group. I know a lot of people differ, and there was a lot of, indecision and also, very varied opinions on the 4 quarterbacks. Can't doubt what the Giants did. I mean, they could have done something different. They could have. And maybe, if things don't work out and this group doesn't come back and win big, they'll maybe rue the day they didn't draft a quarterback, especially the one that went right after their pick. We'll have to wait. That's something that guys will be chatting about long after there's somebody else chatting about it, because I think that's something that could be talked about for a decade. We'll see what happens there. But Eli will join us today, so we'll talk about him and his new toys. He's got plenty of them, and they've gone out of their way to commit to him and build what looks to be a pretty fun offense around him. Now with Barkley, and especially with the offensive line, which had to get better and now should get a lot better with the additions that they have. So we get to that. A-Rod will join me. He called and asked to be the first guest. I said, why not? So he will be the first guest in a little while. We'll also talk to Jay Wright, as I was thrilled to go game by game with Villanova this year and watch them win a national championship. Another one. I remember sitting here a couple of years ago when people were watching Jay Wright not get through the first Sunday and complaining and actually saying, hey, this guy, we got to get a new coach at Villanova. There were people who made those calls. Now, 3 years later, 2 national championships, and now people are hoping and praying that he doesn't leave Villanova, and I don't think he is. He turned down the Knicks. He didn't want to talk to them. I think he has found the home there, and he has built a program that is not only the winningest program in the country over the last 6 years, but now a dominant force that ranks with Duke or Kentucky or anybody else because of what they've been able to do year after year with their style of play. He'll join us.
All right, 10:05 on the Fan, and a very good Tuesday morning to you. It's the midday show. Joe Benigno, Evan Roberts, 877-337-6666 is the phone number. Now, we're live and in living color from the Mike Francesa studios here high above Hudson Street on the 10th floor in Lower Manhattan. And, with him being back now, as we go back to the future, bro, I don't know if I can really say that anymore because he's here.
You have to, though.
Do I have to?
Well, the plaque is still here.
I mean, I wanted to say that to remember Mike, but now he's back.
So you don't want to do it anymore?
I mean, he's here, so we don't have to, remember him now. I mean, he's right here again.
I
so
look
it's
at
going to be tough to do. And let me just say this, and we are on today till 1 o'clock. You talk about going back to the future. Oh, my God.
That's a real back to the future. I guess the real back to the future shows if you're doing overnights. That would be a real back to the future.
That's never happening. But let me just mention that Dove Kramer and, of course, Ernie Acosta on the other side of the glass.
It's your call.
Dove's very happy.
Very excited. It's your call, but I look at it this way. As long as the plaque is here and the name of the studio is the Mike Francesa studio.
You think we should do that? We continue to honor him?
Yeah.
Hasn't he been honored enough? I mean, has there any guy that I know that has been honored more than Mike? I don't think so.
And then returns.
Okay, they're going to honor me.
I deserve
to honor him every day.
I deserved every second of it.
Oh, my God.
The question is, does he refer to the studio as the Mike Francesa studio? Because he opens every show with live from the studios.
Right, and he will be doing the show here.
I think so, yeah.
If knowing Mike and knowing the humble attitude he has, I would say he does. Knowing how humble Mike is.
So instead of live from the studios of WFN, it will be today live from the Mike Francesa studio, named after me, rightfully so.
Me. Me. You know who's responsible for it is me. Sounds like Trump. You know who's responsible for me. I'm responsible. Okay?
He does. But, no offense, Mike, and I think Mike would agree with this. The biggest return today was not Mike. It was Tony Page, and I'm glad he's back.
I did hear Tony. I was up early, and I did hear Tony overnight, and I'm glad to hear him back, and he's feeling well. God bless Tony.
More ballyhoo. Tony's been here for a long time.
God bless you, Tony.
He's a good dude.
Happy to see you doing all right.
And he's all right, and he's back. So Tony is probably sleeping right now, but if he was listening, we're very happy to have you back in the fold.
Happy to see Tony Page back in rocking and rolling.
Now, you say Back to the Future. Is it just me, or last night I'm sitting there, and I thought it was October of 2017 all over again.
Yeah, well.
Everything about this game last night felt like Yankees-Astros American League Championship Series, at least the 4 games that were played at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, that he didn't hit. I mean, Charlie Morton was great. He had a no-hitter, into the 6th inning. I mean, he pitched terrific. I think the one thing you take from last night, and obviously, the Yankee bats were shut down by Morton in the bullpen. But let me say this. you got to be happy with Sonny Gray. I mean, to me, that's the big story. Sonny Gray goes out and gives you 6 solid innings. He only allows 2 runs against the defending world champions, arguably the best team in baseball. And I think you got to be encouraged by that.
Oh, I agree with you. I think that, and also when you have a 9-game winning streak, we saw this with the Mets.
You're going to lose.
You know it's going to end.
Right.
And I made this comment yesterday before the games.
Right.
These games are fun. They're exciting. They're a challenge. They're not as important as when you play the Red Sox.
No.
They're just not.
No.
They're not in your division. Now, do you want to go into Houston and lose all 4 games? Absolutely not. You want to come back and try to bounce back today?
With Verlander, who's been unbelievable tonight.
It's not going to be easy, but you are right. Of all the things you take out of last night's game, I think the number one thing you take out is that positive, and that was the fact that Sonny Gray was good.
Yep.
He was good. And we're not talking 5 innings, 3 runs good, because it's improvement.
Yes.
6 innings, 2 runs is good enough against on most nights.
Right, and especially against this lineup.
Absolutely. An offense that scores 5 runs a game.
Yep.
That's good enough to win on most nights. The problem was the Yankees couldn't figure out Charlie Morton, and the Yankees have company because nobody in the American League could figure out Charlie Morton.
I tell you, it's unbelievable. I mean, the numbers that this guy's putting up. His ERA's under 2. He's 4-0. I mean, it's unreal.
4-0. He's striking out the world. Last night, he just made the Yankee bats look awful. Yeah. He was flirting with that no-hitter until he finally gave one up to Austin Romine in the 6th inning. He was filthy. And think about it. Game 1 of the ALCS last year, the final score was 2-1.
Yeah.
Game 2 of the ALCS last year, the final score was 2-1.
Right. They didn't hit in Houston. That's the bottom line. They hit like crazy at the stadium in that series. They didn't hit in Houston.
It was completely different. In the 4 games they played last year in the ALCS, they scored 1 run, 1 run, 1 run, 0 runs in Game 7. So 3 runs in 4 games, and look what they did last night. It was the same story. Brett Gardner coming through in the 8th inning, in which you thought for a second, oh, here we go. Maybe the Yankees could pull off a great comeback. And instead, give Ken Giles a lot of credit because he wasn't that good in the ALCS last year to the point where he wasn't even closing games out. But Ken Giles last night against the heart of the order was filthy. And the Astro pitching, which is the main reason why they're off to a 20-10 start, was great last night. But it felt like it was October of 17 again. Everything about this game felt like I was just watching a continuation of last year's American League Championship Series.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, if the Yankees have to meet them again in a playoff situation, they're going to have to figure out how they're going to hit and how they're going to win in Houston because that's been obviously an issue. And it isn't going to get any easier tonight with Verlander on the mound, that's for sure.
No, and the good news is you don't have to worry about something like that for a while.
For a long time.
These games, while different than interleague play, which really has nothing to do with it, but it's not a team you're competing with. It's a team you may compete with in October.
Right. You may have to get through them to get to the World Series.
Oh, absolutely.
But right now, you're not.
No, right now your focus, as a Yankee fan, is you're checking the scores every night to see the Red Sox because you just know this is going to be a race all year long.
They won last night.
They did win last night, and they're a very good baseball team, and it's going to be a very interesting and competitive battle for the American League East. But I think you're right. After a loss, especially with a team that now you're starting to not like as a Yankee fan. Maybe you'd walk away frustrated. They struck out 1,000,000 times, 14 times in this game. Maybe some Yankee fans are upset that Aaron Judge, that was the day Aaron Boone picked to give Aaron Judge a day off.
Right.
But I really think of all the stories from last night, it's actually a positive. It's Sonny Gray, man, because they need Sonny Gray to be competent. He doesn't have to be an ace. He doesn't even have to be what he was in 2015, Joe, but he needs to be competent. And last night, he was competent. 6 innings, 2 runs is competent.
And I think you even feel better about it because of the competition he was facing last night. So
absolutely.
That makes it even better. He wasn't going up against Baltimore here,
No, you're right. He went up against maybe the best of the best in this league.
Yep.
Now, the other thing you have to examine was, again, Aaron Boone used Austin Romine to catch.
Yeah, and did you hear his comments after the game where he kind of,
I did, yeah.
Well, the next game, we're probably going to use him because it's going to be day game after a night game, and we want to give Gary a little. Did you hear that?
I did.
That's basically what he said.
You know what he's doing? Because I was very interested to see how he would spin this.
Right.
And basically, he doesn't want to use the term personal catcher. But in so many ways, it's his personal catcher.
Of course it is. Because, and it should be. Why not?
We know this about politics. You can make anything you want it to be. You can spin anything
any
you want.
way you want. Right.
And Aaron Boone, on any given night, can spin why that's a good night for Austin Romine to catch. Of course you can. Last night wasn't a day game after a night game, but it was convenient. Hey, we played the night before. It was a long trip. Perfect night, right? The next time he pitches, it's going to be the same thing. It's just a perfect day to sit Gary. You can always do that. And as long as Sonny Gray is going to have success with Austin Romine, don't hide from it. Just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Couldn't agree with you more, bro.
Look, the negative to it is what you saw last night, and it didn't really affect them. But think about last night. So Austin Romine does get a hit in this game, but rightfully so, Aaron Boone goes to Aaron Judge with a runner on second and 2 outs. Rightfully so, and Judge draws a walk.
Yep.
as soon as you do that and you take Romine out of the game, Gary Sanchez moves from DH to catcher, and you've lost the DH. And I think the negative is, look at a night like last night. The Yankees had no bench because Tyler Austin's suspended. Now, he's back today. That'll help. But they had absolutely no bench. So, hypothetically, let's say the Yankees tied the game up, and this game went long. Mm-hmm. They'd have nobody on their bench, and they'd have a pitcher spot coming up.
Right.
Eventually.
Right.
So, there is a negative to when you do something like that, because you want to keep Gary's bat in the lineup. You're not going to catch Austin Romine and just sit Gary Sanchez. Why would you do that, especially with the way he's been hitting lately? You want his bat in the lineup. But the negative is, in this American League environment, when you DH Gary and then you pinch hit for Romine late in the game, you're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball because you've given up the designated hitter.
Right.
And that's a negative to it.
It is a negative. That is definitely true.
But the positive is Sonny Gray pitching well.
That's it.
That's
I mean, to me,
important.
that's the big night, the big story of the game last night for the Yankees. Yeah, they lost. It's a tough loss. They didn't hit, yada, yada, all of that. But look, they won 9 in a row. They bludgeoned people, too, in a nine in a row. They outscored the opposition by it's ridiculous numbers. But, you went up against, like I said, the defending world champions. It's a tough place to play. They've had trouble there. But Sonny Gray was terrific, and you got to be happy about that.
And now, let's see what the Yankees do now that the winning streak is over.
Yep.
I always say that. It's very difficult, and let's examine the Mets real quick.
Yep.
So the Mets had a long winning streak.
Right.
Since the winning streak
Pretty much
ended,
500 ball.
6-8.
Right.
So a little bit under 500.
A little bit under 500.
And
right.
I think that's what you kind of need to do. And for the Yankees, it's going to be a challenge because you have these 3 more games with the Astros, including a pitching matchup tonight that you don't feel great about. Jordan Montgomery being challenged against Justin Verlander. Then you have the Indians. Then you have the Red Sox. So it's a very difficult stretch of games that the Yankees are playing. But I always like to see what a team does once that winning streak ends. Mm-hmm. And the Yankees had a great winning streak. Give them a lot of credit for what they did in Anaheim. I think they'll win games in this series. I don't think they're going to get swept by any stretch, as good as the Astros are.
I don't think so.
At some point, they're going to score runs in this building.
And Keuchel hasn't pitched well, although he has over the years against the Yankees.
Yeah, it's almost like he needs the Yankees,
right,
like
maybe.
David Price needs to avoid the Yankees.
Right.
It's sort of the opposite.
Right.
They do miss Garrett Cole in this series. He's been great. But last night, it felt like Back to the Future. It really did. I was sitting there, and it was a very quick game. It was a 2-hour, 20-minute game, which you don't see very often in baseball.
Well, I mean, 2-1 game should be. I mean, to be honest with you, I know. No, I know.
It should be.
But a 2-1 game, a pitching duel really should be a short game. It should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes you get a 2-1 game, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yes.
But it just felt sitting there. I was thinking to myself, man, this feels like October. It feels like I'm watching the same exact story that we saw last year when the Yankees lost all 4 games to the Astros in Houston, and they had real problems scoring runs. Speaking of problems, you have any issue with Judge not playing?
Well, I mean, look, you want to give the guy a day off somewhere. I mean, I guess you do. I mean, he's young, but you want to give him a day off, you give him a day off. They wanted to use Sanchez as the DH last night. I understand. I got no great problem with it.
Yeah.
They won 9 games in a row. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, it's a fun series, but like I said earlier, I don't want to be a hypocrite. What does Yankees-Astros really mean in the whole grand scheme of things? And it's not that much.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't, right? Not right now.
Yeah, so I would be against if you're sitting Aaron Judge in a game against the Red Sox because those games matter more. They just do.
Right.
The games against the Astros, while exciting and big, and certainly you want to put your eyeballs on it.
First game he's missed all year, right, Judge?
First time he's sat.
Yeah.
There's very little track record, by the way, of Judge and Morton besides the postseason. He's only faced him a handful of times, so there isn't something that jumps out at you that makes you say you can't play him. But I don't have an issue with it because guys are going to need their days. And as manager, it's just about determining when you do it, what day you're going to do it on. And in this case, hey, you know what? You know what I like? I actually like the fact that he took the day off. As good as Morton's been, he's not Justin Verlander, even though he's been great so far. He took the day against Morton, but is going to be in the lineup against Verlander.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, well, why not?
Sometimes you see the opposite.
You want your best against the best, don't you?
Yeah, but how many times have you seen players?
No, we've seen it. We've seen guys conveniently take days off. Left-hand hitters against Randy Johnson.
Right.
I can think of a few of those guys.
Right.
I think I want to play today.
Yeah.
But, But you're right. He's got his best, the best against the best. Why not?
We'll talk to John Flaherty later on, more about the Yankees. Steve Garvey, tremendous baseball player.
He's going to be in studio, right?
In studio.
Steve Garvey, what a tremendous hitter. We talk about a borderline Hall of Famer. Boy, he's close.
And a clutch player, too.
He was. Fred in Jersey City is on the fan. Fred.
Hello, Joe. Nice to speak with you. And Evan, I am a daily listener to both of you guys every single day. Joe, I hope your hip's feeling much better.
Yep.
I have bursitis. I got a cortisone injection last. I hope I'm not developing hip problems.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to speak to both of you because both of you guys are such lifelong devoted Met fans as myself. And I have like two things I'd like to say. Number one, when is the Mets? How could somebody create a kangaroo court? We have to have guys like Lagares and Cespedes. We got to find these guys. You can't go in head first. Lagares with the 2 hand surgeries. I don't even know how long Cespedes will be out, but I'll stop there first. And then I want, if I'm kind enough, to just make a little statement regarding Rusty, and I would hang up politely.
They all do this now with the head first slide. I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, it's not just Cespedes and Lagares. I mean, most guys do.
Hey, Joe, when I played second base, if you came in with your hands, I would try to step on your hand.
When I was 100 years ago, when I actually played baseball in Little League and even in high school, you got to slide. I wouldn't even think about sliding head first. It wasn't even a thought. But, it's a different one.
I'm with you. I play every Sunday and never head first slide. Never. Because I don't want my fingers disappearing.
Right. Or your head.
Or my head. Yeah.
Likewise. And with $23 million, we want you on the field. And this is my second question. I'm really, really unhappy with the city of New York City, especially the police and fire department, because when Rusty died, I didn't hear word from anybody in the PBA city thanking him for all the work he did with the New York police and fire, widows, and all the picnics, all the money he raised. I frankly didn't hear one. I didn't read a sentence. I didn't hear Patty Lynch, Bloomberg, de Blasio, Daniel Nigro. Nobody thanked Rusty for all that he did. And I'd also like to see, from a humanitarian standpoint, I'd like to see Rusty's number 4 retired, because he wore 4 in 73, and that was a great year. I know we won the division by 3 games. We beat Pete Blows and the whole 9 yards. But
he can't retire. Let me just say this:
he retired. The Mets should do something for him.
And but they have done something for him. They're wearing a patch for him.
Right.
And he was a great humanitarian. And just because you haven't seen anything said doesn't mean it hasn't been said. I don't know for sure, but there's no doubt what he's done for the family of police officers. He was a great humanitarian.
But I mean, as far as retiring his number, there's other Mets that would have to get their number retired before Rusty. So I couldn't do that.
Alan in East Brunswick.
Alan, how are you? What's up?
Oh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood when I get to speak with the immortal Joe and Evan.
What's up?
Guys,
immortal.
Do me a favor, guys. Don't ever split, please. I love talk radio, and it's entertaining to me.
The only way that we'll split is the day that I move on. So that'll be the split.
You're not going anyplace, Joe.
Yeah, all right.
I try to tell him that, but I don't know, Alan. At some point, he's going to leave.
I'm not going anywhere. Okay.
I hope not.
Yeah, there'll be no victory tour, believe me.
I got it. All right, listen, the Yankees, I think they had the right idea by holding out one of the big right-handed hitters, especially against top teams and tough right-hand pitchers, and then bring that player in that they held out for during the game when it's a key turning point in the game. A key time where they need a hit. Maybe one of the other hitters isn't doing so well against them.
I don't think that's a part of the strategy that you want him on the bench so you can use him as a pinch hitter at any moment, but it is one of the benefits. When you sit a guy who's a big bat in your lineup, you know that you can use that chip at any moment. And they selected that moment in the 8th inning. Unfortunately, all he did was walk, but he still did that. And then the Yankees drove a run in. But you sit a guy because you want to keep him fresh. That's the motivation behind it.
No question.
And we live in a day and age in which it happens. Very few guys, if ever, play 162 games. I'm not sure, Joe, if anybody played 162 games last year. In fact, I'm going to check it out.
I think, you know what? If I'm not mistaken, I heard Gary say when they played the Padres over the weekend that Freddie Galvis played 162 games.
Freddie Galvis.
Played 162 last year. Check it out.
Oh, I'm going to look. I'm curious now. Let's go.
I thought he said that.
Chuck in Long Island. Hey, Chuck.
Chuck, how are you? What's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. Listen, let me give you my theory on why Aaron Boone sat down Judge, okay? The guy's slumping. He has struck out 10 of his last 14 at-bats. He struck out 4 times Friday night against the Angels. He had 3 base hits in a row Saturday and struck out 3 times in a row. Sunday, he struck out his first 4 times in a row before he hit a fly ball. I think he needed a break.
Okay.
No, I think they looked at it that way.
I think that's fair. Absolutely.
I think that's certainly a part of it, why you try to keep a guy fresh.
Yep.
Tommy in Brooklyn.
Tommy, how are you?
Joe, let me ask you something. If you could do the afternoon show from home, would you do it?
Probably not.
And more money.
There'd be a lot more money.
More money.
For me to do the afternoon show, let me say this. They'd have to pay me a number they would never pay me. So I got one number and only one number in mind. I'm going to say it this way. If I was going to make, and obviously it's a moot point, Mike is back. If I was going to make a life-changing, which to me that would be a life-changing move, then you got to pay me life-changing money.
7 figures.
Yep. There you go. All
right. Let me get to the.
Is that fair, Ev?
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Let me get to a couple of Mets points.
Yep.
I'm watching Wheeler the other day on Sunday. No Will Myers in the lineup. Warm weather. Figuring he's going to pitch a good game. He pitches 5 innings. You can't even determine anymore in baseball if you have a potential frontline starter or workhorse in the making in your rotation. It's terrible. And put pitch count aside a minute, put the money aside for a minute. You can't even determine anymore, if you're going to have a potential horse in your rotation. Another thing about Adrian Gonzalez, Evan, you're pushing this notion that Gonzalez may eventually be a bench player. Look at his numbers and look at Cody Bellinger over on the Dodgers, who they got rid of Gonzalez for.
Right.
Gonzalez has 3 home runs, 17 RBIs in 30 fewer plate appearances. Bellinger has a higher average
that's not
than him.
That's not the only metric you'd use. And if you think Adrian Gonzalez is having the same kind of year as Cody Bellinger, then you lost. I mean, I can't help you there. I mean, they're not even close when it comes to some of the other
I do like
numbers.
having Gonzalez on the team, though. I mean, I got no problem with a reduced role for him at first base, but I like having his professional bat on the team.
That's fine.
I got to say that.
Don't call in and tell me Adrian Gonzalez is having a better year than Cody Bellinger. I mean, you don't sound very intelligent when you say something like that, because it's not even true. Other than you want to get on him because Dave Roberts decides to pull him out of a game because he doesn't hustle on a ball into triples alley and he only ends up with a double. But come on now.
Speaking of the Dodgers, didn't I see that shortstop is done for the year?
Corey Seager
How about that?
Needs Tommy John surgery. Here are guys who played 162 games last year. It doesn't mean started, though, because remember, Aaron Judge played yesterday.
Right.
Joey Votto.
Okay.
Alcides Escobar.
Right.
Freddie Galvis.
Right.
Odor and Hosmer. So
5 guys.
5 guys get the 162, and I'm not sure they all started 162.
Right.
But they got into 162.
Right.
Brian in New Haven.
Brian, how are you?
Oh, not bad, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Just listening to Yankee fans be as critical as always. It's crazy how upset they can get over losing one game. I mean, I look at last night's game, and I see Sonny Gray went 6 innings, 2-run, 4-hit ball, and I'm thrilled with that. And then who's the next guy out of the pen? Dylan Betances, who gets 3 outs on 12 pitches. And this guy, we need to get straightened out. The fact that we're losing the game to Houston 2-1, that was their first loss in a game where they let up less than 4 runs, which means the bats have been doing their jobs. I could care less about these games right now in April and May. Talk to me at the trade deadline and in October. I can't wait until we get there.
Well, I mean,
you care about the games.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say you don't care about it.
You can't say you don't care, but you want to be smart. I mean, I think you have to manage for 162. You can't manage every game like it's Game 7 of the American League Championship Series or Game 7 of the World Series. I think you just have to be smart about how you plan things long term. And when you look at the struggles that Judge had in the middle of last year, and maybe it was his shoulder, maybe it was just that, or maybe he was wearing down. I think the Yankees have taken all the precautions out to make sure that they have the freshest Aaron Judge they can have for the duration of a season. Let's go to Mike in Brooklyn.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, Mike?
Well, no, Joe, you mentioned Corey Seager, but that was another reason why I was thinking why you got to give someone like Aaron Judge the rest. God forbid something happens to him. Let's say he was on the Mets. The Mets, all the Mets fans would be saying all over again, "Oh, here we go," and something with the training staff.
No, I understand. Evan just gave it to you. 5 guys played every game last year in Major League Baseball. 5 guys.
It's a small number.
And I'm sure if we went back, to the 60s and early 70s, and even the 70s, we'd see a lot more than 5 guys playing every game.
Yeah, I think the fair debate is when you pick those days.
Right. That's it.
And
that's exactly right.
I think what annoys some people, and I get it, is that you look at these games against the Astros, you get pumped up, you want to get revenge on them. But the truth is, I know this because the Mets played the Royals in 2016. The Mets could have won every game 15-0. There was going to be no revenge.
There's no revenge unless you beat them in the playoffs.
Right.
You beat them in the playoffs, you got revenge
That's the revenge.
Yep.
No matter what you do against them in the regular season, it's not going to erase the pain of the postseason. Trust me. That's going to beat the Royals 87-0 in the 4 games combined in 16. What would it have mattered?
Doesn't matter.
They still lost the World Series.
Yep.
Lucas Stude is still making a terrible throw.
Yep.
Matt Harvey's still in a game too long. All that stuff is still going on. Same thing for the Yankees. So I think that's the thing that probably jumps out at some of the Yankee fans, that this was the day where they did decide to sit Aaron Judge. But guess what? He'll be in the lineup tonight. Gordon Agent, Wojnarowski, the Knicks are done with the head coaching interviews.
Right.
They've capped it off with Mike Brown, the former Cavalier coach, lead assistant for the Golden State Warriors. So now they've interviewed Dave Fizdale, David Blatt, Mike Budenholzer, Mark Jackson, Juwan Howard, Jerry Stackhouse, Kenny Smith, Jay Larinaga, Mike Woodson. If I missed anybody?
No, I don't know.
They've interviewed
Jay
the
Wright
world.
said no.
Jay Wright said no. I wonder if Mike will ask him about that later today.
He probably will.
Yeah, why not? So did you consider the Knicks, okay? Did you give him more than 30 seconds? So where do you want? Who do you want? You sticking with Jackson?
Yeah.
That's your guy?
Yeah. He's the one guy that moves the needle for me. I mean, look, it doesn't really matter who the coach is. To me, it doesn't. But, I mean, I would like to see Mark Jackson, yes.
I know what you're saying. Like, does it matter they're going to be terrible? They don't have a good roster.
Right.
You're right. It doesn't matter in that regard. But it does matter because coaching can help. It's not going to make you a winning team. This isn't football. But you want the most competent coach you can find. And like we're seeing with Brad Stevens in Boston, and we saw with Eric Spoelstra this year in Miami, good coaching does matter.
Yeah, it does. And Stevens is a great coach. And look what he's doing with that team, as beat up as they are.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
So I don't agree that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Next year, does it matter? No, they're going to lose a lot of games next year. We get that. But I think the year after that, the hope is they're not going to lose a lot of games.
Well,
and you want the most competent coach you can have.
Let's see what they do with the 9th pick in the draft or wherever that cookie crumbles. And let's hope that Porzingis gets healthy and stays healthy. That's a big concern.
I wonder with the Bucks looking for a new head coach, because remember, Prunty was just interim after they fired Jason
They're after
Kidd.
Budenholzer as well, right?
And you'd have to think that that's where Budenholzer would go. I mean, the Buck job is a great job. Why would you not want the Buck job?
Yeah.
You have a chance to win right now.
Yep.
And you're going to get to coach one of the tremendous young players in this sport, and he's healthy, unlike Kristaps Porzingis. So if they're competing with the Bucks, you figure they're not going to win that competition. Budenholzer's a good coach.
I got to be honest with you. To me, if you really want to coach the Knicks, I mean, seriously, who wants to get involved with that disaster over there? I mean, I got to tell you. I mean, when I think about it, there's such a disaster. They're so dysfunctional. And again, I mean, I'm giving Mills and Perry. I think they've done okay so far, just in the fact that they haven't done anything stupid to this point. Okay, which is a good thing. But I mean, that's not the greatest job in the world. I mean, let's be honest.
I don't think it's a great job because you're not close to winning, and your best player is going to miss potentially an entire season, or at least a significant part of it. But it doesn't feel like they're dysfunctional the way they used to be.
Well, it doesn't
unless
feel that way.
Unless you believe the owner's going to do something kooky that we don't see coming.
I mean, it doesn't feel like I said. I mean, they haven't done anything stupid yet, this combination yet, Mills and Perry. They haven't done anything dumb. They haven't traded any #1 picks away. They haven't done anything, ridiculous like that. But, it's not a great, unfortunately, it really is not a great job.
It's not a great job, you're right, because they're not close to winning. And I think if you had a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, it's a little bit more of appealing of a job, because now at least you're coming somewhere where you've got this chip, this guy to build around, but that guy you're building around is just not healthy. And there's questions about if he's ever going to be able to be consistently healthy. So I think from that aspect, of course it's not the greatest job. You compare it to the Milwaukee Buck job, it's not a great job.
Definitely not.
If you compare it to the Hawk job, I don't think it's worse. Why would it be worse? Where are the Hawks going?
No,
they're doing
not
the
worse.
same thing right now.
It's not worse. It's a lower profile, I guess. But
it is New York City. It is a quote flagship franchise of the NBA.
Yeah, that ship is sailing, man. That ship, I think, sailed a while ago, but nevertheless,
or it sunk.
Right, and maybe that's
flipped or capsized.
Right.
But you're also probably going to get paid a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Knicks have
you'll make a lot of money.
Coaches and presidents very handsomely over the years.
Sure.
I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know. I mean, I think Fizdale would be a good hire. I think that Blatt would be an okay hire. Let's see what he actually is. I don't think you got a fair shake in Cleveland. Are you really coaching the Cavs when you're coaching the Cavs? You're probably not coaching the Cavs because you're not coaching the Cavs.
No.
Coaching the Cavs is playing on the Cavs. So, I don't know. I don't know what the heck they're going to do. But they've interviewed everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, I think a part of the reason why Mike waited till now is he got an interview for this job.
Oh, did he?
We're checking him out.
Well, I mean, he said he would have took the Yankee job if they had offered it.
That's right.
I mean, come on.
Let's go to
come on.
Toll-free number brought to you by Mohegan Sun. Let's go to Anthony in Manalapan. Hey, Anthony.
Anthony, how are you?
How you doing, guys?
What's up?
I just wanted to see, with the Dodgers struggling early and now Corey Seager done for the year, if this continues, what are the chances the Yankees go after Kershaw before the deadline?
I don't think they'd ever trade him. I think the Dodgers, if anything, are going to try to win. They're going to go the other way. Maybe they're going to be the ones trying to get Manny Machado from Baltimore. He makes a lot of sense for them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I really think Bumgarner is the more realistic guy. Now, both teams are in a very similar spot. They're not that good right now. But Kershaw may not even opt out, because when you look at how much money Clayton Kershaw's making, I would be skeptical to see that he's actually going to get more in the open market. He's already making over $30 million a year. And so far, he hasn't had a bad year, but he hasn't had a Clayton Kershaw year. And he has back issues. Tony and Bayonne.
Tony, how are you?
What's up, guys? Listen, on this Barkley move, none of these quarterbacks were a can't miss like Peyton or Luck or anything like that. And Gettleman being an old school guy, the way the Giants won with Sims and Hostetler, they weren't great quarterbacks, but they ran the ball well. They played.
Oh, Phil was pretty good. Phil's better than you're giving him credit for. I mean, let's be honest. Phil's a lot better than you're giving him credit for. Okay,
he was, but you look, Joe, you look at the way they won.
No, I understand. Really, I get what you're saying.
So maybe he's looking at it like this. I'm going to build this running game. I'm going to build this defense, and I'm going to do it the old school way, because he's 67 years old, and he's trying to catch lightning in a bottle now. He doesn't want to build a team for a quarterback when he's going to be gone, and maybe gone in 5 years if they're not winning.
Well, we understand that.
I think that's all part of it.
That's exactly. He's trying to win now.
He's trying to win now, no doubt. And I guess I buy that he doesn't love these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And, well, we're going to find out. We'll see what these quarterbacks become, and we'll see if he's right or not. Louis in the Bronx.
Louis, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I haven't spoken to you since the draft. And for all the Giant fans who are devaluing the running back position and say that they weren't ready, we're not ready to win now. Football, listen, look at the Rams 2 years ago, right? Whatever they were, 3-13. Last year, not only first place, a first-round bye. Think about what Todd Gurley did for Goff. Think about one of the best quarterbacks ever, John Elway. Didn't win until Terrell Davis came there and took over in the Super Bowl. You don't realize the pressure a great running back takes off a quarterback. Just the simple fact that he can turn around and hand the ball to him 25 times a game and dump it off another 8 times. Look at Prescott last year, that he didn't have Ezekiel. He was exposed. The year before that, Prescott looked great. Ezekiel was having an MVP season. Don't devalue the running back position. It's okay you took him at 2. It's going to be an immediate impact. And you know what? People are saying, yeah, but look at Adrian Peterson, a Hall of Fame running back. He's a different back than Peterson. Peterson's between the tackles.
Well, Peterson never had the quarterback either. I mean, think of the only years in Minnesota. Who was his quarterback?
Well, use LaDainian then as a comparison.
Yeah, because he did.
Tomlinson.
Okay, I like that. I
think it's a better comparison.
Yeah. Okay, and you know what? Those San Diego teams were great teams that should have won, and it wasn't because of him that they didn't win. All right, and I believe now. Listen, you can go in the NFL. You can go from worst to first overnight.
Of course.
There's no question about it.
That's why the idea is...
There's no doubt about that.
That's why this idea the Giants can't win this year is ridiculous.
Of course it is.
But Eli Manning is being given the weapons. Weapons that, for different reasons, weren't there last year. A, his offensive line was awful. It should be better this year. And B, he kept losing all his receivers to injury. With a little bit of health and improvement from this offensive line, there are no excuses for Eli.
Nope.
He's going to have the pieces around him. Rick in Tampa.
Rick, how are you?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good, Rick.
Happy Mike's back day.
Here you go.
MF Day, hey. Mike Francesa Day.
And it's May 1st. It's May Day as well. Maybe that's why he picked this day. I don't know.
I think that's it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a great day. Hey, you know what? I have a problem with last night's Yankee game besides what you were saying, like this Back to the Future thing. But, I have a problem more so a little bit. I know, 9 games in a row, I'm not going to complain. Obviously, it's a great win streak. But every time they interview Didi after the game for the last 9 days, it's like, you sure you're not a home run hitter? You sure you're not a home run hitter? They keep putting it in his head. And then you watch him these last 2 games, it's like he's out there thinking, maybe I am a home run hitter. And like he was lost.
It's 2 games. He's 0 for his last 10. I mean, he was so hot that, you can't just say, now that he's got a little bit of a slump, that's only 0 for 10. It's not 0 for 30. That now he's trying to hit home runs every time.
No, I can't say it yet, but I will give Steve this. Is that possible?
Sure. It is possible.
We've seen that with guys where all of a sudden, they start thinking about home runs and it changes their approach at the plate.
Right.
Hopefully that's not the case with Didi. What's happening to Didi right now, because he had a tough day yesterday. One of his toughest days he's had. Struck out 3 times.
Right.
He hasn't been striking out a lot. What you're having right now is a human being slumping because he wasn't playing Joe like a human being. He was playing like a god.
No.
So he's slowing down.
Unconscious would be the word.
So I think if this continues for a while, sure, who knows? Maybe it does creep into his head that he starts thinking about himself differently. But for now, it could just be an old-fashioned batting slump. Yep. It does happen.
Yep, to everybody, may I add.
Everybody. Steve Garvey will join us live in studio next.
Even he had a few batting slumps.
He did. We all do. We all have slumps. Stations have slumps.
Right.
Players have slumps.
Right.
Everybody has slumps.
Right.
And then what you need is a slump buster. We've got one. Does Didi have one? That's the question.
This listening, he's driving to Pennsylvania to fleece somebody else. Let me tell you something right now. What a thief. This is a guy who lived in the Vatican, and I had the stupidity to let him organize this golf trip, and I've had nothing but complaints from the folks who might be going the last month or so. Chris, it's not professional. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. We're playing these, Rob's the only guy in America who set up a trip to Scotland on 3 munis. All the courses are raring to go. Carnoustie, they're dying to take your money. Trump's joint, Carnoustie, Muirfield, Old St. Andrews, and this idiot, and I can't get out of it now. Because he set us up on 3 munis in a 7-day trip. Can you imagine that? And I got Mike Devine out there who's a scratch saying this is a disgrace and I can't get my money back. Or because Father Rob's a thief. Take that. Mike in Orange County, California, laugh. Huh? Mike's laugh. Mike, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What's going on?
Chris, the Angels, Yankees. Feel my pain.
Oh, I tell you right now, and I will do that later. What a disgrace. What a disgrace your fan base is. Giving the opposing shortstop a curtain call. I mean, that is atrocious. After you got swept all weekend and you're rooting for the Yankees, that was a disgrace in Anaheim Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know that?
Okay, hold on. All right, so I went to the Saturday game, right? Before I could sit down, I sat down. It's 5 in the first, 5 in the second, 10-0, right? The worst game I've ever been to in Anaheim. And then Yankee fans all around me going crazy. Aaron's Judge jerseys, man. My son and I are going, what is going on here? There's so many Yankee fans. But the saving grace was I think a lot of the fans didn't get into the game probably till the 3rd inning. So maybe they didn't see the 10 runs.
No, maybe not. But I tell you, though, you could have been happy. Everybody was rooting for the Yankees there. Go ahead. What's on your mind today?
I'm telling you, I can't believe it. I've been to the Yankee games. I've been to the Red Sox games. The Red Sox fans, they fill the stadium. But the Yankee fans, where are these people coming from? They all moved to California? I mean, it's crazy. I see Yankee everything.
I get the idea that if the Angels scored the 5 runs in the first and second innings on Saturday, the Yankee fan would have just taken the jersey off and underneath his Yankee jersey was an Angel jersey. The Yankee fan can be a flip-flopper, that's for sure. Go ahead. What's on your mind today?
Well, that's part of it. It was tough. And then, of course, the Sunday game, we were in the game. CeCe was dealing well, but we cannot hit right now. The Angels have stopped hitting. 3-8 in their last 11. I don't know what's going to happen. It's painful. But you know what? At least I didn't see Steve out there cheering him on. Oh, by the way, Steve, real quick, he didn't know that the Sharks game went into double overtime the other night against the Knights. He goes, was that an overtime game? Double overtime game?
Steve did not
know.
All right, he didn't know it was double overtime? Sharks? Okay. So Mike is just picking on him, not fair. That was a very good game, by the way. We'll do the hockey a little bit later on. Bob is in Vegas. Robert, good afternoon. How are you today, pal? What's going on?
I'm well, Chris. How are you?
Fine, Robert. Nice to have you aboard. What's happening now? Let me hear.
So I agree with what you were saying about the fouls and everything, and that Turner foul, yeah, that was...
Oh, that was an atrocious call. They should be embarrassed by that call.
There was a lot of phantom calls, and I agree, and the Cavs are going to get those calls. I totally agree. But, to be fair, the refs did miss a Victor Oladipo shot clock violation.
Yeah, they did.
The ball was in his hands. The ball was in his hands for a full second. That 3 should have not counted. So, I mean,
they did not get the 3. They got the rebound and they got a 2-point shot after that. That's what that was about.
Yeah.
The Cavs committed 28 fouls. The Pacers committed 28 fouls. The Cavs committed 21 fouls. Cleveland shot 40 free throws, and Indiana shot 24 free throws. Wow, for a Game 7.
And my second point is, yeah, I agree with you. But regardless of all that, Nate McMillan had Victor Oladipo on the bench when LeBron James was out and the game was in the balance. I mean, when you have all these things weighing against you, you cannot have your best player in an elimination game sitting on the bench when LeBron James is out of the game. Victor Oladipo's got to play, he's got to play the entire game. He got rest in the first half. He needed to be in there. That was a huge mistake on McMillan's part.
You guys are putting way too much emphasis on Oladipo. I know Steve said that it's not like Oladipo's Kevin Durant. I know that they fell off there and they had trouble and they scored 8 points. I did not, I didn't think too much. I knew he was sitting down because you saw him sitting there. I did not make that big a deal about it myself in that spot. Andy in Seattle, and he's aboard. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Andy, good afternoon. How are you today? What's going on?
Hey, I'm good, doggy. You nailed it about LeBron and Doris. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I respect the heck out of him, though, but he's really good with those post-game segments. In the regular season, he's the first to admit that the team might not give 100%. He'll drop one of those. It's a long season, Doris. We know what we need to do to get to where we need to be by the end of the year, blah, blah, blah. So, obviously,
LeBron is, he's a drama queen, Andy, but LeBron's, from what I've never been there after a game in a locker room with him or at the media tent. I've never had any inclination to see how he operates, but it appears to me from a distance that LeBron's good to the media. It appears to, he's available at shoot-around. He's available after the games. He's good at the post-game. I get this sense that if you're covering the Cavaliers, that when you need LeBron, he's there for you to get some quotes. That's the sense I get from afar. That's my take on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's very affable with the media, I would say. But, yeah, great job out of them. And so here we are again with Toronto trying to shed that paper tiger label, and I won't believe it till I see it. How about a mention out of the Washington Wizards blowing that fourth quarter lead on Friday? And I don't think they would have won a Game 7, but they should have won that game on Friday night. They just laid a complete egg in the fourth quarter in their own building. They were getting booed by the end of it. I think they gave up like 8 offensive rebounds to Toronto. So, those Paper Tigers come out on top, and on paper, obviously, they're a big favorite over the Cavs. I haven't watched a lot of Raptors basketball this year. Apparently, they've got this deep bench to help the two stars, but in the postseason, usually those rotations get smaller. So I don't really know.
Well, he's played them in the postseason in the Washington series. He's played them. Remember, they were in trouble there in the fourth quarter of Game 5 at 2-all, and I know the Wrights and the guys like that, C.J. Miles, were in the game. This is a have-to-have series for the Raptors. LeBron doesn't have to have it. This is a have-to-have series for Toronto. They cannot lose this series. They are going to get murdered across America. They won 59 games. We all know that the Cavaliers are basically, led by him uphill, basically, with a rope, the rest of them on a boat, and he's dragging them up the hill. I mean, he has done a superb job taking them this far. Toronto is a team that, had a wonderful regular year. He seems to have learned his lesson with his bench. We will see. But all the pressure in the world is on the Raptors. Let's see how they handle it. I'll ask it this way. If I gave you a choice of Lowry and DeRozan, you can have both of them, or LeBron, you take LeBron. I'll give you both of them. I'll take LeBron. That's what I would do. Now, the rest of them, you can have. I mean, look at this Cavalier team. Love yesterday, Thompson, Korver, J.R. Smith, Jeff Green, George Hill, Larry Nance Jr., Clarkson, who did, Clarkson yesterday. You know what Clarkson did yesterday, the guy they got from the Lakers? 11 minutes, did not make a shot, 1 rebound, no points. That's awful. Rodney Hood yesterday, 7 minutes and 14 seconds. He got 1 rebound, did not take a shot. That is a motley crew if there ever was one. Motley. Jeremy Huber A Sports Bite. Mad Dog Unleashed.
Mad Dog Sports.